In 1997, Tim Burton published a collection of short stories called The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories. Written in verse and illustrated with Burton's own drawings, the stories depict a range of sad, disfigured and unwanted children. The style of these stories is influenced by Burton's childhood hero, Dr. Seuss, but they are written for adults. The rejected and grotesque misfits in these stories remind readers of the pain and awkwardness of childhood and adolescence. Bearing the stamp of Burton's characteristic humour and irreverence, these characters have names like Voodoo Girl, Toxic Boy, and Jimmy, the hideous Penguin Boy. A blend of the tragic and the comic, these miserable souls demonstrate Burton's capacity for installing emotional complexity into often very simple stories. A number of the characters in these stories meet an untimely and gruesome end. Stick Boy is burned alive, Oyster Boy is eaten by his father, and Mummy Boy is mistaken for a piñata and whacked to death. An audio clip will now play. You are listening to Kate Warren, Acme Assistant Curator.
I still remember the day that I bought myself a copy of The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories. I was visiting the Museum of the Moving Image in New York. I'd never heard of this book, I'd never seen it, but I was immediately taken by the beautiful images, characters and stories that Tim Burton had written and created. What I love most about this book is the simplicity of the characters and stories. Even though some of the stories are only a few pages long or maybe one or two sentences, they still manage to be incredibly funny and very touching and moving at times as well. They really do evoke emotions that everyone has felt from time to time, such as loneliness, rejection, and that feeling of just being a bit different to everyone else around you. I think that my favourite character is a little guy called Jimmy, whose friends call him the hideous Penguin Boy. Something that just so perfectly captures that feeling of trying to fit into a mould, but not quite succeeding.